Rolski.
We're rolling. I've been editing the Summer Spectacular. It's a wild ride.
Yeah.
It's a real wild ride.
Even with half of it being deleted.
Yeah.
It's still...
That makes it even more wild. Rick gets a little angry about that. That's okay.
Did I get angry or did I just get upset?
Oh, I don't know. I can't tell the difference. Welcome to Lost and Found and Rewound, a podcast whose hosts will soon join the Village Club of Western Springs. I'm Chris Lost.
I'm Found Jim.
I'm the Reverend Rick Rewound.
He's a reverend. What were you last time?
Oh, I don't know. You've been editing stuff. You tell me.
It's all a jumble now because we're recording episodes faster than we have all year. I'm scrambling to edit these episodes to get them out on time.
I think that's going to be my my motto for the rest of my life. It's all a jumble now. I think that's just...
It is all a jumble now.
It's all a jumble now.
I had a hot seat question for you just to kick it off. Everybody remembers our segment. You know, the hot seat's gotten less hot. Now it's just like a quiz.
Is that the question?
No, the question is, who did Valerie Bertinelli date just prior to dating Eddie Van Halen?
Pat Harrington?
That's a no.
That's a funny joke, isn't it?
I don't know who Pat Harrington is.
We talked about Pat Harrington.
Oh, no. Well, come on. What did I say? I don't remember anything.
I'm looking it up just to make sure I'm right. That's the right name.
And while Rick looks that up, Jim will think about who was her boyfriend right before Edward Van Halen.
Was it the guy on the TV show? What was it? The Fix-It guy?
Yeah. Schneider.
Is that
It's
who
Pat
you were talking
Harrington?
about? Okay.
Yeah.
That was your joke.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
of
I know who
course.
Pat Harrington is. Everybody knows who Pat Harrington is. Schneider, no. Did she date Pat Harrington? I don't think so. She was
I
young.
hope not.
She was young.
Yes.
He's in the entertainment industry.
Leaf Garrett.
Oh, that's a good guess. Was it Chachi?
No. Ralph Macchio. Oh, not Ralph Macchio.
Scott Baio.
Scott Baio. Yeah. Political advocate. Scott Baio. No, it was a famous director, film director.
Woody Allen?
Not a bad guess. But no, she was, right before she dated Eddie Van Halen, she was of age. So that puts her out of Woody's range.
Is this a hot seat question? This
It's
just seems like
it's
a...
just a
It's
question.
a warm seat.
It's Steven Spielberg.
really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Whoa,
Steven
that's
Spielberg.
weird. I don't like that at all.
I know. It's so strange. They didn't hit it off.
No.
Oh, one more segment, and then I don't know what we're going to do. Color Me Impressed. This is our segment where we talk about things that are out in the world. Richard Normal Valentine, he's done it again. He put out another, what I call a digital 7-inch. Because I think it's got an A and a B side, but I don't know.
That's right.
That's because I'm old. He takes on a Motown sort of machine sound with See Me Gone. Love the chorus in that song and the bridge. In fact, it's kind of wild.
But the verse, not so much.
Verse is great too, but the chorus is particularly special. Side B is a Roxy Music cover, Always Unknowing. And the Roxy Music version sounds like a proto-Spandau Ballet song, but the Richard Normal Valentine, it's a bit peppier. I like it better than the Roxy. Dare I say, I like it better than the Roxy Music version. Have you heard these songs, Jim?
I have not.
All right,
I've been too busy trying to learn these covers that are way over my head.
Speaking of the Western Springs, or the Village Club of Western Springs, sorry, I was it's the Village Club of Western Springs.
Right.
Got to get that right.
But they meet in the Village Hall. No, the Village Hall is separate. Village Club is a separate building from the Village Hall. So when I say I used to see movies in the Village Hall, that's a different place.
Right.
The Village
Correct.
Club, yes. Okay.
Jim, what songs are giving you trouble? You're playing bass in a cover band.
Yeah. Lido Shuffle.
That's a hard one.
Just to remember. It's just going to be a memory thing. No, they're yeah. Dream Police. That's great. It's just fun to play. The ending of that is insane. I've got that pretty much down though. It's the problem. Yeah, playing bass. It's like I'm a guitar player and I'm used to kind of messing around and do whatever. And with bass, it's like no one pays attention until you play the wrong notes. And then everyone knows you're.
You just say, when somebody looks at you, you say Paul McCartney. Paul McCartney, 1967, 68.
You should just take a Lou Barlow approach to it and play chords over all the songs.
The other band I play bass in, I do kind of try to play chords whenever I can, which isn't that often, but I do that. Yeah, that's fun.
But it doesn't work on the Lido Shuffle.
No.
We should plug the show. What's the date of the show?
October 19th or 20th.
It's past. It's too late now.
You missed it, everybody.
The double vinyl, 180-gram double vinyl James Garholt's musical anthology is out on Lotus Pool Records called Life's Too Good to Keep. It's amazing. He was William S. Burroughs' business manager and knew people like Ginsberg and John Giorno and was there when television got started. Like he tells these amazing stories about television and CBGBs and all those bands, Sonic Youth, and sort of a background figure to counterculture of the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. Anyway, all that time he was writing his own music and he's putting out a double album anthology of everything he's done over those 30 years. So something to check out. But if you can get a time machine, go back to the Village Club of Western Springs. Got to get that right. And see Jim play
Lido Shuffle.
Wait. Can we try it again?
Right.
Rick, you were in a band that played Lido Shuffle, right? You were in a band way back in high school that did those kind of covers.
I was in a band that played covers, but it was Stevie Star and the Twinkletones. So it was 50s songs and then neo 50s songs. So in that early 80s, 50s revival. So Stray Cats and that Dire Straits EP, Twisting by the Pool. I think we played Twisting by the Pool. We once tried to play 1999.
I was going to say your band members turned you on to Prince.
Yeah. Stevie Star was a Prince fan. I remember him talking about Controversy at least. And then when 1999 came out, we tried to play 1999. But it didn't quite fit in with the rest of the music, like, the Buddy Holly songs. And then, okay, we're going to play another one. Oh, and then we played I'll Tumble For You by Culture Club, too. It was weird.
This was 82?
82, 83, maybe.
Which voice in 1999 did you sing?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know if we got that far. It was just too hard to pull off for this strange motley crew of amateur musicians.
You weren't like, and life was just a party.
Yeah, I feel like maybe I was Dez. And it was meant to last.
So you played the solo?
No, I don't. Well,
wait, was it that song? Where was the song where he gave Dez the solo amazingly?
Yeah, I don't.
It was on that record.
You could probably go back to that one of the early seasons where we talk about that record.
The first season.
Yeah, well, was it the first season?
Yeah, it was definitely the first season.
Wow, long time ago.
No Lido Shuffle. So you weren't playing contemporary songs. I guess Lido Shuffle, that's not contemporary, is it? What
it wasn't.
What year are you saying you were in this
like
band?
83. So we played a Elvis Brothers song, and then I think we played a Stray Cat song, and then Twisting by the Pool. So like 50s rock and roll revival songs were the contemporary songs we were playing.
Something I just forgot is that Lido Shuffle is by Boz Scaggs.
Yeah.
Boz Scaggs actually produces a couple of the songs on the James Garholt's 30-year anthology.
Amazing.
I totally forgot that. It's a collection of recordings that he did over 30 years, some in his own home, engineered by himself, but Boz Scaggs actually engineered a couple of the songs.
Wow.
And what other famous musician was Boz Scaggs in a band with?
Lemmy from Motorhead.
Nope. Lemmy's English. Steve Miller. I think he might have actually been in the Steve Miller band.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
Early era.
You're saying English people and American people can't be together in bands?
Well, this is more like their early bands, right? So Lemmy would be, although, I think the first Steve Miller band record was recorded at Abbey Road. I think there's a story about Paul McCartney being pissed off. It might actually be at the end. It's like during Let It Be. It might be no, it wouldn't be Let It Be because they were already in the Apple building. Paul McCartney plays drums, I think, on a track on the first Steve Miller record.
Oh.
Because he was upset about something that was going on with the Beatles and came in and said, can I play with you guys?
My band's making me angry.
Yeah.
They ran out of piss wine. And so you saw the piss wine where they're drinking that Let It Be.
No.
So I heard another podcast talk about the Beatles piss wine because they were drinking wine the whole time.
Yeah.
And it just looks like glasses of piss. Really bad. Lido Shuffle came out in 1976, so just a mere 7 years prior to your band.
That would have felt like old music.
And just 48 years later, Jim now is covering it, breathing new life into.
No offense, Jim, but it does kind of make me sad. I've seen a couple of cover band situations lately, and it's just like, wow, do we really need to hear another version of, a Pink Floyd song or a
Lido Shuffle? I would say yes. A Pink Floyd song. What are they playing? Another Brick in the Wall? Or
I feel like I shouldn't say that because
yeah, how dare you say that? I was in a Pink Floyd cover band.
That's
We
right,
covered
you
The
were.
Wall, and it was a work of art.
Yeah, it was a very creative reworking.
We're bringing that back.
Sorry, Chris.
We're gonna open for your cover band. Rick, you do covers?
I do.
How dare you?
I do covers that it's a problem though. Yeah, it's because if you do covers that nobody knows,
You get credit for it. It's like,
oh, that's a great song. Yeah, I just remember. Yeah, oh, this is a Narvel Felt song, and like everybody's like, what does that even mean? They don't even know.
Yeah, I don't even know what those words are that you said.
Exactly. But I like the odd cover.
Oh, the odd cover is the best thing to do.
Yeah.
But there's also the odd cover in plain sight. Like I was in a band that did Beautiful that Christina Aguilera originally covered because it was she was singing somebody else's song. And that kind of went over well. We weren't doing it. There's a clear difference between the performance of the song. I think that can be fun.
Yeah, the contrast. Yeah, I like contrast covers.
Soul Asylum was always great at that. Seeing Soul Asylum live, they'd always pull out some ridiculous cover.
Sexual Healing.
Yeah, and like Chevy Van. Is that what that song's called?
I think so.
And I can't remember what other ones.
Free for All. When in doubt, I whip it out. Got me a rock and roll band. It's a free for all. Ted Nugent.
Well,
I don't
really,
remember that. I don't know
Yeah.
if I heard that. Yeah.
Not a big Ted Nugent fan.
His music is okay, but his political views are dead on.
I know. Yeah.
I watched a documentary on him. A documentary? I guess that's what it would be. On him. You know how it was like what do you call that? When it is about him. It's like a promo hour. Is that a documentary? Would you call it a documentary?
Maybe an authorized biography, right?
Yeah, I think it's just a
But that's just
commercial.
yeah.
But he did say he was holding a shotgun, and he said shotgun and a guitar are like so similar to me. There's like fine wood and mixed with metal, beautifully polished metal, and like I'll be damn sure if I can't get my dinner with either one.
Wow.
I really like that message. Speaking, here's something to speak of. You guys are in a band together. Has there ever been a moment where either one of you took a swing at the other one on stage because the stage volume was too loud? You guys play loud in a band?
Well, that's very specific.
Yeah, that happened recently too. Are you guys aware of this? I mean,
Yeah,
I woke up and it was the first thing on my phone. I'm like, how do you know I like Jane's Addiction? Like, why is my phone immediately telling me?
I watched the clip, and then I went back and watched people had up online the whole show, and I watched a lot of the other songs to see what was going on, and it seemed like things were pretty out of control before the fight happened.
You watched the whole show to figure out?
No. I watched. What did I watch? I watched the Mountain Song and Ocean Size, and then another song, and it was like, ooh, wow, it's not going well. It's not going well, and there's one person who's a problem, and the other three members of the band are kind of like, whew. They're trying to soldier on.
Well, it's 2020. Well, I probably shouldn't name the year, but although you can see it on the date of the podcast, you got in-ears. Put some in-ears in.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I saw him, and he's like still using monitors.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You can't be a band that big and use monitors.
So they don't have a dead stage. I mean, that's the thing now is like a lot of bands, like, so those big productions, the stage is dead. Like everything's in ear, everything's amp modeling, right? And so those amps and everything, there's no sound. There's nothing. It's all coming through the PA, and then they're doing in ear.
That's got to be so creepy to be like standing on the stage or like backstage.
It's like those videos like David Bowie and Mick Jagger doing Dancing in the Streets, but without the music. And it's just like all the sound effects. Yeah, it's like that.
Hilarious.
So, no, I think Jane's Addiction, from what I see is they're still playing through the amps and everything too. So I think that would be more difficult. It kind of wouldn't matter if you had in-ears and then on top of it, you've got Marshall Stacks blaring live.
You would plug your ear enough. They have those they like put the foam in your ear to form in your ear.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, maybe he likes to hear himself on stage too. I mean, that's the way they always played. He has like a rack unit. He does all his own vocal effects and everything. There's a great video of them when they first got back together with Eric Avery, and they played some Mexican restaurant in LA that they clearly must have played back in the day. And they just announced it that day. There's a line out front. People showed up. And if you watch it, there's like a 15-minute video. Somebody like videotaped it and then edited together 15 minutes of show. And it's awesome. Like I was like, it's the only way I'd ever want to see that band again, because every time I've seen them, it was kind of weak. They didn't have Eric Avery, and it was too far away from the stage, and it was too big of a venue. You've seen them in like a small venue, right?
Yeah, Mabel's in Champaign.
Yeah, with like the original
lineup.
Yeah,
first record or second record, I guess. First tour.
and I don't know if like it's uncool to like them or not. I just really, because they kind of border on metal. Like they walk every line. They're sort of indie, but they're always on a major, and they're play kind of hardcore kind of stuff, fast stuff. But then the guitarist is like running through scales faster than Steve Vai, and you're just like, how does this band get away with this? They have all the elements of a metal band, but they come off as an indie band.
Yeah, they were pretty profound, had an effect. I know, yeah, and still talk to people like about it when that record came out. In fact, the second drummer in our band was just writing online a while ago about how I played that record for him and it changed his life. And it was like somebody played it for me and I was like, oh my God, because it was that. I think it was the first, I mean, there was the cult kind, I think, like looking at what the timeline is for the cult and then for Jane's Addiction, where it was that metal indie crossover. Obviously, you look at like Smashing Pumpkins, and it's like, oh yeah, that's just totally Jane's Addiction and the cult, right?
Well, they toured together.
Yeah, they really towed the line. And Guns N' Roses, that Guns N' Roses record was right on the edge. But then all those bands kind of, I feel like they tipped over the edge, right?
Mm-hmm.
They did. Well, Jane's Addiction actually.
They didn't really, did they? They
did.
Just broke up, right?
They got really bad.
Yeah.
I was reading an interesting article, and I wish I could remember her name. I'll have to look it up because it's terrible that I don't know her name. Actually, and when you said second record, you're talking about Nothing Shocking, because Live was the first record.
Yeah, that Live record, which was on right. They self-released that or whatever. That was on an independent label
where they did a cover of Rock and Roll, the VU song, and I didn't know it was a VU song. I kind of got into VU. I hesitate to admit this, but I got into VU because of that song on the Jane's Addiction record. But Perry Farrell was dating a woman who did all the cover art for really all three of those records. The Live record, Nothing Shocking, and Ritual de lo Habitual. Wrote a lot of lyrics and helped him write a lot of the songs and did all the art and like stylized all that stuff. I think she shot and edited the promo video or whatever we want, a documentary on them, and she got zero credit for it. So there's an article, and I can't remember what magazine it is, but terrible. I'll have to look her name up. But she was similar to Marsha Lucas. She was like kind of the person behind the band and never got credit for it. And mysteriously or coincidentally enough, when she broke up with him and got out of that situation, their next record immediately sucked. That Kettle Whistle? I forget what it was called. Anyway,
I don't even know.
They got really bad. And so clearly she had a huge artistic influence on who they were, shaped what they looked like, shaped how they presented themselves to the world. It was a Huffington Post article by Casey Nicoli, Italian.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think Perry Farrell's Italian as well. I was a creative force behind one of the biggest rock bands of the 90s, and I watched them erase me from their story. Yeah, one of those things where she kind of lost all the credit that she was given prior. So you guys have never taken a swing at each other. It's pretty loud on stage when you guys play.
No.
I know that no one would take a swing at your bass player. That'd probably be the dumbest thing.
She's kicked and punched walls, Yeah.
Just for fun or?
No. There's just a couple instances of that. Over the course of 15 years of touring, I think that's pretty good, actually.
Yeah. That is pretty good. Yeah, you guys were...
Compared to, for instance, like FuGUnzi, where it seemed like every show there was a fight, not the band, but there was violence, there were guns.
Yeah, guns drawn. That's the one we played with them several times.
In Kansas City.
Yeah.
There was a gun drawn.
Which was wasn't it the promoter or something?
Yeah.
FuGUnzi didn't have guns.
No,
it was
absolutely not. It was
the promoter.
Just actually had a little reminiscence about that incident.
With the guys from FuGUnzi?
Yeah.
I was there at that show.
Were you?
Yeah. Well, you guys got us like backstage passes. We sat stage side, watched FuGUnzi together.
One of the best shows I've ever seen in my life.
So where were FuGUnzi's guns? In the van?
They did not have guns.
Oh, they didn't have guns.
This is the promoter.
Oh, nobody had any guns from FuGUnzi?
No one from FuGUnzi. Come on.
They just have
now you're upsetting me.
They just have a bell.
They had a bell and a 120 volt washing machine.
Oh yeah,
that you could
dryer.
plug into.
Just a
dryer. That's
They'd
right. Dryer.
Bring a dryer with them.
Are you confusing them with Rush? Used to have washing machines on stage.
Yeah, no. Yeah, FuGUNzi had a dryer that they could plug into a regular outlet and dry their clothes after a show. It's fascinating.
That's troubling. I got to think that one through a little bit. They didn't believe in laundromats. They didn't like to hang out with the great unwashed. Is that what you're saying?
I think it was more of a time thing.
Oh, timing. Okay. It wasn't like a classist.
No, yeah, you can't stop every day and dry your clothes. A drummer, I remember, from a Champagne band on tour and was just dumping his clothes into a duffel bag, and then at some point opened the duffel bag and nearly killed everyone in the van.
There was some other band we toured with, and they were like throwing clothes in. I thought it was like his bass drum case or something.
Yeah, there was that too. Yeah.
Oh.
There are lots of stories.
Horrible.
Well, you had bands that you
mess.
toured with that had like socks on their riders, so they'd have a
Oh, yeah.
fresh pair of socks every year. Well, why did you put a
Yeah.
full set of clothes on your rider? Full outfit?
That's some band did that too. They just bought horrible clothes at Goodwill. You know, not cool. It wasn't cool thrift shop clothes. It was just they'd buy the worst clothes. They had terrible clothes. And it was like, yeah, we just throw them away. You know, it's not very
Environmentally.
yeah. But
Well, you just sell the clothes you just wore and buy a new set.
yeah.
Kansas City, food-wise once only known as a barbecue town. But thanks to the Taco the Town podcast, everything has changed. Kansas City has rightfully taken its place as a taco paradise, smack dab in the middle of the USA, and all of these tacos belong to us on the Taco the Town podcast. My name is W. David Keith, certified tacoholic, and I live a very taco-centric lifestyle. On the Taco the Town podcast, we're tasting every taco in the town. We shine a light on all of the taco-rific tacos Kansas City has to offer, unearthing great taco memories, checking the latest stories in taco news, and interviewing actors, reporters, chefs, politicians, and musicians about their love for tacos. If you love tacos like I do, you're gonna love Taco the Town. Available wherever you get your taco podcasts. A proud member of the Lotus Pod Podcasting Network.
All right, Rick, what have you been consuming in terms of media lately?
I don't know what spurred this on, but I watched all, I believe, 10 episodes of Arc 2. Are you familiar with the show? It was
No.
a TV show in the 70s by Filmation. Maybe there are 15
Yeah.
episodes about this group of young people driving around in this amazing van
Yeah.
in a post-apocalyptic environment. It's
Yeah.
it's the bearded older man, a young woman, a young man, and then a talking chimp going around and kind of doing a Star Trek, Incredible Hulk kind of thing, traveling from village to village in a post-apocalyptic world, trying to help people out.
Then they have like a little vehicle that came out of the back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did watch those a little bit. I think I saw an episode or two sometime in the past decade, but I didn't do a deep dive.
I loved the vehicle that came out the back.
So it was all about the vehicles. Like that's what led me to it. I like somehow saw that, and then I watched.
Was it one of those like 6-wheel things like the G.I. Joe?
No,
or
it was, but it
the
looks
Beastie-
similar.
Beastie Boys video. Beastie Brothers. Beastie Boys.
You know the
video.
Beastie Brothers?
Yeah.
I read about it. It was kind of a modified version of this weird minivan. It was one of the first kit vans built on a Volkswagen
Mm.
body, or what is it called? Chassis.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a dune buggy, but it's like a van like thing. And then it's modified for the show. It looks even more science fiction-y. But
Wow.
and then it's also the company that did the big giant vehicle, which apparently you could like could not be driven. Like there's a wind sort of a cockpit up at the top, but an actor could sit there, but that's not where the steering wheel was. Like they had to drive. There was somebody underneath the cockpit, and they had just like a little sliver to look through, and so basically they would drive blind.
Like the Killdozer guy, the guy that built the Killdozer.
Exactly.
He had cameras.
Yeah.
Amazing. I got to watch that show. Well, how was it?
No, it's not great. It has what's his name? Jonathan. What's his name? The guy who played Dr. Smith from Lost in Space. He shows up a couple of times as what's the name of the evil guy in Fagin? So he's called Fagin, and he has this troop of kids, feral children, and he's kind of running around.
Oliver Twist.
Yeah, it's kind of like a post-apocalyptic Oliver Twist kind of thing, and he plays Fagin. Except I think they spell it differently, but they call him Fagin. And then who else? Who else shows up? Oh, another guy, like old character actor, also plays a bad guy. They show up a few times.
Jim, what have you been enjoying, consuming?
Well, it's kind of goes into the apology section too. I realized after we watched Miracle Mile that I had access to like versions with commentary tracks, and I should have watched those before. I didn't do my homework. I just had forgotten I could have watched those. So I watched some of the again after we did the episode. And
Wait, how did you watch it? Because I thought that was one that we had to like hook up a computer to. Am I getting things mixed up?
I didn't realize I had it. But it would have been hard to, I guess.
You mean I paid $3?
Yeah.
$3 in credits. Let's be honest.
That's true. I already had the credits.
It wouldn't have been as good quality, I don't think.
Did you learn anything?
Well, he really liked Tangerine Dream.
So he got along with them?
He said something like it was like fundamental to the movie, or it was like Sorcerer. He loved Sorcerer and stuff, or they listening to that, I think. And he was so amazed that he got to work with them and really happy with it. Yeah. And even now, this is whatever, 35 years later on the commentary track, he was just saying how great it was to work with Tangerine Dream. And that was a big part of the movie. He wanted that music. It was always going to be that, if possible.
Another sample of Jim's spin-off podcast where he talks about
Tangerine Jim.
Yeah, Tangerine Jim. That's right. I forgot the name of it.
Where he goes over Tangerine Dream soundtracks, movie by movie, even the ones he hasn't listened to yet.
He'll talk about the cover art, talk about how other people love them.
But I just, something about him rubs me the wrong way.
Little do you know they have your picture up in their like studio because you've bought more Tangerine Dream albums than anybody else.
James, we are so upset.
Have you listened to this podcast? It's not very flattering.
It's not flattering at all. He seems like a fan and he knows so much. Has so many of the records, but he does not like the music. In fact, sometimes he doesn't even listen. He doesn't even listen. It's not that he doesn't like it. He doesn't even think. He doesn't think he likes it. Is he actually a former member who's taunting us?
There was a former member.
Oh, they're I feel like they're
Didn't he see that in the credits or something? He was he was listed independently.
Yeah, that was the thing. It was like he was in Tangerine Dream, I think at the time, but he's got a separate credit. So I don't know if he split, if they broke up or something during that film, or he's got a separate credit. Yeah,
I think that's season 3, episode 7 of Tangerine Jim.
Right.
You go through that. You have to go back and listen.
I probably should ask this off mic, but how should we do our songs? Is my song?
Sorry.
Has it been vetoed? Or
no.
Do I have to go write another song?
I listened to it again. I realized. So the problem is that you sent it via text message.
Oh, it'll get buried fast.
The stream. It's in the stream and it floats by. And I think, by the time, and then I remembered it. And then it's like, I got to listen to it. I listened to it before and then I listened to it again. But yes, I meant to tell you, yes, it's been vetoed.
Oh, shit.
No.
I thought that one was a good one.
No, it sounded good. It did remind me a little bit of Pink Floyd also. Just a little callback to earlier in the episode, but in a good way.
That's a good thing. Should I send stems? Like my intent was that we would completely replace everything that I recorded, but you got to have something to record over. So are you just going to record over the stereo mix?
Is there like a tempo thing?
Yeah, I could send a click too. Should I do that?
Yeah.
My only problem is what am I going to play on it?
I think it's a free-for-all.
And you have to sing on it too. I figured we'd do the instruments first and then we'd go back over with the vocals.
All right. Oh, okay.
So replace all my guitars. They're just there to sort of give you an idea of the arrangement.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
What I've been watching just really quickly, because we're going to be here all night, I watched Longlegs, this modern horror film, horror, suspense, mystery.
Who's in it? Somebody's in it, right?
Nicolas Cage plays the bad guy, or one of the bad people. I call it the mother love bone of modern horror because it's got all these references to T-Rex in it. And just as inexplicably, I couldn't figure out why.
The movie does?
The movie does.
Has references to the band?
To the band T-Rex. And I also feel like Nicolas Cage's character is like Mark Bolan if had he lived to now.
Wow.
It kind of looks like Mark Bolan
Interesting.
as Mark would look today.
See, now you almost got me convinced to watch it, but it's got scary stuff in it, right?
Not really. So you could watch it, and I was like, oh, Rick might like this movie because it's a period piece. It takes place like in the 70s, maybe early 80s.
All right. So not a dress up, people walking around and
Ivory
merchant
ivory.
Right.
Ivory merchant.
The actor who plays the lead, she's amazing in it, just incredible, and plays someone who seems a little OCD or a lot OCD, and is just incredible. Does an amazing job. But then it goes off the rails. When a horror movie gets supernatural, if it doesn't start out supernatural and doesn't give you the rules, and then it's like, the way we explain all this is it's supernatural. That's lazy. It actually reminded me a lot of season 1 of True Detective. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
Yeah.
All the True Detectives kind of flirt with supernatural stuff, and then they come back to being rooted in reality. Whereas this was like rooted in reality and then turned into a supernatural thing. And it was like, I don't know. I think there's a lot of things you would like about it, Rick, but the plot falls apart at the end. There's some bloody stuff, but
Okay.
it's okay. B minus, C plus, C plus, B minus.
How many stars is that?
2.5.
2.5, yeah.
Okay.
That's right. What is our movie we're going to be watching today?
The movie we will be watching, well, if the videotape holds up, is Bad Ronald. It's actually a made-for-TV film.
And you taped this off of television? That's
No.
how you have a cassette?
No. I got a cassette. In the early days of the internet, I was able to find a eBay, I believe, cassette. So basically people pirating old movies, right, are hard to find movies. That's what I have here. So it is probably a dub of a dub from, or a video from TV. So it's already a second generation, third generation, I guess it would be.
And this wasn't something there's a time in your band where people were like sending you media.
Yeah, and tape trading, that was a popular thing. You'd stay at somebody's house and they'd show you compilation of crazy videos. Yeah, I remember sitting in someone's house watching William Shatner sing Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, that like on that variety show, like Canadian variety show or something. Before YouTube and everything, you'd never see that. It is basically YouTube before YouTube was people who had traded dubs of videotapes of crazy things. And so definitely we'd get stuff and see stuff on tour. But no, this was me going out and finding. It's also like when I bought a 10 DVD set of every episode of Fridays.
Nice. I got to borrow that.
I have that. I have a bootleg. This is later. Yeah, a bootleg of all the Fridays episodes because they had great musical guests.
I bought the multi-DVD set of every episode of The Night Stalker.
Oh, yeah.
On eBay.
Because, stuff like that was hard to find in the old days.
Right.
That's actually now, is it available on streaming now?
Probably.
Night Stalker?
Tubi. Yeah. I'm sure Tubi's got
Tubi's got
it. Tubi's fast becoming the best streamer. Like, it's got stuff on it like that you wouldn't think that other streamers would let them have. In fact, I'm not even sure the other streamers know they have it.
I got a message from the Tubi app, though. Let me see if I can find it. It said, "We've got a recommendation for you." And it's like, what if I watched on Tubi? I think I watched New Centurions, and what was the other thing? And this suggestion, it was something like Sex Farm or something. And I was like, what? Like, why? Like, how from my... I'm trying to remember what it was called. Come on,
That's
Tubi.
the beauty of Tubi, though. It plays the averages. It's like we're not going to pay to have an algorithm.
Right.
It's a dude. Send him Sex Farm.
I wonder if I can find
If it's a woman, send her The Notebook. If it's a man, send him Sex Farm. And let's move on and have the greatest streamer in the history of streaming.
I was like, thanks a lot, Tubi.
I bet you they have Tubi down at the Village Club of Western Springs. It's just a TV dedicated to Tubi.
My notification history doesn't go far back enough. I'm looking through it and I don't see a Tubi notification. I felt like it was recently, though. It's only the last 24 hours. Tubi.
Tubi or not Tubi?
That's not a question. That's an answer. Tubi is it.
Oh, here it is. My stuff. There's a notification here. Oh, no. Bad Faith. I did watch that on there.
All right. Well, we're going to watch this movie and then we'll maybe watch a little Sex Farm afterwards.
Lost and Found and Rewound is fully funded by Lost and Found and Rewound Foundation funds. Lost and Found and Rewound does not use crowdfunding because our listeners have better things to do with their funding. There's no need to post reviews of Lost and Found and Rewound because our listeners have more valuable things to do with their time. In all sincerity, thank you for listening to the show. We truly appreciate it.
Lotus Pod.